So where we last left off, we just finished discussing the rendering tool to essentially produce something that's like this. Now, while this is good and does provide some good detail and everything, obviously there's going to be another step to this piece of visual. So you'll notice that when we look at the sort of finished sample here, what do we see here? We see that there's actually like some outlines on all this. So essentially what we're going to talk about today is going into our Rhino model, using the same view, and we'll keep our view consistent so that we could overlay the lines on top of the render we just exported. And we're going to discuss taking all of this and essentially creating a series of lines that we can export into AutoCAD, which then can be moved over to Illustrator. So here's how we're going to do it. We're going to use the Make2D command, and it's very quick and easy. You're going to start by typing make, M-A-K-E, 2D. Yep, see, it wants to fill it in for us. Hitting enter. It's going to ask us to select objects to draw. Now, for now, because we're obviously trying to produce a 2D visual of this specific view, we're going to make sure that we're staying in this window. We're going to left click and hold down, drag over top, select everything, release the left click. Then, now once we've got it all selected, we're going to press enter. Now, let's see what we have here. Essentially, these are the parameters that we want to include if we want to export it this way. We want it to, be selected on view. The output property would be just from whatever's being input, which is everything we just selected. And this will create an extra layer, Make2D, but that's not going to be a big problem for us right now. So now, with all of this set just this way, we're going to hit OK. We can see here it's got a kind of a loading bar. Now look at this. Everything it just produced, it produces over here in the top window. But check this out. While these are the actual, while this is the actual physically developed model, these here are just the lines for whatever we for whatever we just exported as Make2D. So you can see here that, here, let's zoom out a little bit. It looks kind of, nonsensical from this perspective, but from the top view, this is essentially a pretty good demarcation of, exactly what we just wanted to export. So now the next step to this is I'm going to show you how to take all this, export it into AutoCAD, and from there we can pretty much do whatever we want with it. We can move it over to Illustrator if we want to, or we can edit it further in AutoCAD if we want to. You may have noticed also the fact that when I am doing these, I'm never including any of these trees here. And there's a good reason for that. You can see that this tree, maybe I picked one that was a little complicated, but it would, due to everything that's going on in here, the Make2D command might really struggle with this, which is why if you keep your model a little more pared down and a little simpler, it makes it much easier to export. Plus, I can add, some appropriately sized trees in AutoCAD or in Photoshop or wherever I want to after. But the idea is the basics of this view are now exported as Make2D and can be turned into a CAD file. And I'll show you how to do that now. We're going to type in export, E-X-P-O-R-T, hit enter, select objects to export. We're going to left click and hold. We're going to drag over the selection we want to now export, release, and then we're going to hit enter when done, select. Now, it's going to ask us where we want to save all this stuff. So we're going to go to, I apologize for my file naming structure, but just for the sake of us making sure we know exactly where to find this, we'll save it here. Now, we're going to go to this drop-down menu here, and we're going to scroll all the way down to AutoCAD drawing. So, which is just a DWG file, point DWG. We'll left click that, and we're going to call this, view 1. We'll keep it nice and simple. We'll hit save. And in a second, I'll show you what this is going to save as. Now, DWG, DX, export scheme, default. You can just leave it like this, and this will export just fine. Just show skipped object dialog checked, and then hit OK. And as we can see, that file just got saved successfully as a DWG drawing. Everything that we just exported. So let's go see if we can find it now. And here we are, view 1, or whatever you saved it as. You're gonna select that one. We'll try opening it. AutoCAD will take a moment to open up. And if you guys are already sort of versed in bringing AutoCAD lines into Illustrator, then you'll realize that doing an overlay between everything we're about to look at here and that render file we talked about in the last video, overlaying one on top of the other, once you see how easy that is, you'll see that really the hard part of the work is all done at this point. Continue opening. Oh, I had to scroll out a little bit here, but as you can see, everything that we're looking for is now essentially in the format of an AutoCAD file, which again means that if we want to, now we could pull this, we could create a view for it, like I know you guys might have already covered at this point, and make this something that can essentially be imported into Illustrator as a set of lines. But that's essentially the nuts and bolts of using the Make2D command. And this will be helpful in the next stage too when we're making axonometric and oblique views.